Recording in progress.
Hi, is that my Fathom that's recording? Because I'll stop it. I apologize.
Yes.
Okay, I apologize. It's automatic.
No worries. I pinned that because I thought that was you coming in.
So that, so I have a podcast too that I'm like not very active on, but I
Yes.
downloaded Fathom,
Recording
so no matter
stopped.
what, I'd have a backup recording.
No worries. Yeah. And I can give you the it'll be a YouTube link of this video. It'll just be an unlisted YouTube. It just goes on Patreon. So I can give that to you.
That would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. It's cool. I'll show you what it looks like. This is how it appears whenever you
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, but okay. So what we'll do is catch up on the podcast rather than catching up here. We'll do 10 seconds of silence and we'll get right into it.
Sounds good.
It would help if I find my script. Hang on just a minute. I didn't put my contacts in today, so I'm like really having trouble reading.
I'm so sorry. Do you want to go do that? And like,
No,
I'm sorry for making you do this so early.
Oh, no. It's fine. I'm just going to use my big screen and blow it up. So my main monitor down here is like a 65-inch television, so it should be we should get it. Okay, so we're recording, and give me a little bit of audio before we go. Just like give me some test stuff.
Sure. Test. Hi Mike. How have you been? I could change my mic.
Hey. No, this is great. That sounds good. Sounds great. And I'm gonna pull up your bio.
I didn't know if like what kind of
Honestly,
content or
yeah, I just want a little bit of context as to who you are. And I think what you provided is great. So
okay. I could provide something more personal too, because as I was typing it, I was like, I don't know if that's what his podcast is about.
It's not, but my guests aren't content. Like, I don't match guests to the content of the podcast at all. I just want people who are interesting and know how to talk.
Okay.
So honestly, like none of what we talk about is going to have anything to do with either of us because it's a history podcast. So, okay. Yeah, I think what you got is great. We'll just keep it simple. And if we want to get into what you talk, I'll ask that during the thing before we get going. So that'll be good. All right.
And we
don't
have to.
No, it's great. I want, there might be, listeners who are really, sort of are going to latch onto your content. So, all right, let's do 10 seconds and we'll get right into it. It's time for Yap Yap with me and a friend. And today I'm calling Marissa Faye Cohen. Marissa was voted National Campus Speaker of the Year across colleges and universities, and that's not an old award like mine. That's a new award. That's a 2024 award. She's an 8-time best-selling author and an avid movie buff. I know Marissa because we both do a lot of work in college campuses around America, and that's sort of how I have met her at different conferences and things. How's it going, Marissa?
Oh my gosh, everything here is great. How are you?
I'm good. Now you're up in Chicago, correct?
I am, and it's already stinking cold here.
Oh, and yeah, I mean, and we're recording this early in the morning. It's even earlier for you. I appreciate you doing this early in the morning. How was your Thanksgiving? What's going on up there in Chicago?
I'll be incredibly honest. I hate Thanksgiving.
Same. Well, I mean, it's not. I like getting together and I like events, I like looking forward to something and holidays, but I don't like Thanksgiving food. I think it's the most boring of all the food. Turkey, doesn't matter how you cook it. I'm a great cook, but turkey is just, you have to add so much to it to make it palatable for me. So
I agree. I don't like turkey. I don't like cranberry sauce. I don't like pumpkin. I don't like stuffing. And I'm really not a picky eater. But
so many people are just turning the podcast off right now. They're just so mad about this.
Sorry. I get faced with a lot of backlash for that.
I do too.
But I've had so many bad Thanksgivings. Like a couple of years ago, we had a really bad family Thanksgiving with strangers. My parents invited people we didn't know. My dad brought a date. My mom stayed in the kitchen the whole
Oh
time. Like it
no,
was really
that is
bizarre.
a movie. That is a
For that
90s
reason.
comedy movie right there.
It was a sitcom. It was comical, but it was comically bad. And so we try to stay in for Thanksgiving now.
So you are National Campus Speaker of the Year. You have tons of books that people really love and different work that you do with young people. Most of your content is helping people navigate through a history of having survived through abusive relationships, narcissism, things like that. Can you tell us a little bit about your work and what you do?
Sure. So, I work with survivors of sexual assault and abusive relationships and help them heal. And at colleges, I just want them to know what we didn't when we were in college, right? When I was in college, I was dating a whole bunch of toxic, terrible people. I had a knack, it was my superpower to pick out every toxic, abusive person on my campus and date them. And so from there, I gained a lot of experience about what red
Sure.
flags look like, what behavior patterns we don't talk about, we miss. And I don't want students now to be going through the same thing that we went through when we were in college because it's enough. Enough is enough. We need to talk about what red flags look like. We need to talk about how to set healthy boundaries. We need to talk about consent and how important it is for us to defend ourselves, and say no and seek help. And so that's basically my purpose is I want people to know that they're not alone because I felt very alone when I was going through it.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't, back in well, I went to college 25 years ago and that type of thing just didn't, no one talked about it. And no one, it wasn't a thing that people felt power to have a voice about. So that's fantastic. Maybe you can help some people. And there may even be some listeners who are listening and saying, you know what? I would love to learn a little bit more about what I went through and heal myself. And I told you before we began, none of this, what you do or what I do, has anything to do with this podcast. I just like to bring on interesting friends who, I get to hang out with through the guise of doing a podcast. So one of the things that I've been doing is asking these interesting friends of mine if they know something that I don't, whether it be a history fact or something. So can you tell me some sort of true fact that there's little chance that I've heard before?
Ooh, so I'm so full of fun facts, but they're usually very related to my content
Sure.
and they can be dark, so I won't do that. Let's see.
It's okay if it's related to your content. It doesn't bother me at all.
No, I don't want to bring the mood down. Let's see, a fun fact. Did you know that the guy who invented the Pringles can is actually buried in a Pringles can?
We did know that, and we did an episode about it. One of our very first episodes. Yeah, that's here in Ohio, actually, believe it or not. Yeah, that guy, his family was like, what else can we do to just do that? I love this fact. I use it. Any promo that I do for this podcast, I use that one because it's one that makes people go, wait, what? How you bury a person in a Pringles can? Yes, that is one that we've done, and out of I've probably done this question maybe 20, 25 episodes, and only two of them are things that I've known, and they were about the last 2 weeks. So last week and this week, are things that I've known. So let's get into our questions. Question one: what we do is we play for a joke. So, Marissa, if you get the question wrong, you've got to tell me a joke. But if you get it right, I will tell you a joke. So here's our question. In the 1950s, a small coin was found in Maine. Why was this coin significant? A, it was made from a substance only found in outer space. B, it was of Viking origin several hundred years before Christopher Columbus. Or C, it had an image of someone who looked like Donald Trump on the face of the coin.
Oh my God. I just want to preface this with I love history. I'm just
Uh-huh. These are weird questions, and like I told you before we started, it doesn't matter whether you get these right or wrong because no one would know a lot of this stuff. That's what the podcast is for. So either it was made from a substance only found in space, it was of Viking origin several hundred years before Columbus, or it had a picture of on it that looked like Donald Trump. And this was in the 1950s. It was
Okay.
found.
Okay. So of those three, I don't think it's C.
Okay.
I think it's B. I think that it was with the Vikings.
The answer, believe it or not, is B. You are correct. It was of Viking origin several hundred years before Christopher Columbus. The thing that made this interesting is that no one knew that there was any Norse contact with America that far south, being what's currently the U.S. This main Viking penny, as it's commonly known, or the Goddard penny, was one of a kind. It was in this in this archaeological dig site on the coast of northeast Maine, well, central east Maine, and they think that it possibly points toward trade with people that were up in Newfoundland, where Leif Erikson and the Vikings did come to America long before Christopher Columbus. So that's why this thing is interesting, and it's also why it's since the 50s, well, really since the 70s, it's been debated as to whether or not it's a hoax. Some people think that the thing was planted there and it never really was dug out of the ground. So
People will literally create a conspiracy theory about anything.
yes, they really will. But some of the people that really have fought against the authenticity of this find are top coin collectors in the world. You know, some of like the past president of the American numismatic association, and some different people have said, well, and one of the reasons they point to is that in the 50s, around those 2 or 3 years around when it was found, it was very popular to fake Viking finds because it was sort of the beginning of people learning that Christopher Columbus was not the first European to make contact with the Americas. So it was kind of like a very new thing, and everyone was looking for new evidence of this. But this one, now we know the coin itself is legit. What they were questioning is whether or not it came out of the ground. And a lot more people think it did come out of that find than didn't. So I owe you a joke because you got it right. So this is a joke specifically for coin collectors. One day in 1920, Farmer Jack saw a newspaper advertisement that read, "I will pay $1 for 1902 pennies." Jack immediately checked his change jar and he found that he had 15 of them. And they were common back then, Indian cents bearing the 1902 date. So he promptly mailed them to the address provided in the ad, which was a distant city. And 10 days later, he received a reply that said his dollar would be forthcoming as soon as the advertiser received the remaining 1,887 pennies.
Oh no.
1902 pennies. Boo. That's a stupid joke. I have one street joke that I've looked up that I liked, and our regular listeners know that I love this joke, and I actually put it on my socials this week. Why did the yellow tooth refuse to laugh at the white tooth's jokes? Because he was already dead inside. I love this joke. It's the best joke in the world. I'm going to tell it until I die. I love it because it's a street joke, but it's a kind of adult street joke, and it hints at racism and takes you one way, and it makes it like, oh, I don't want to hear this joke, and then it's just so good. Okay, anyway, let's move on, Marissa. Oh my, do you have any plans for the holidays for the end of the year?
Actually, one of my best friends is getting married right in between Christmas and New Year's. So I get to go out
Oh,
and visit and watch him marry the love of his life. Yeah, so that's
so
pretty
that's good.
exciting.
I feel like it's a little risky doing a like a New Year's wedding or a Christmas wedding or whatever, because
It was
people have
intentional.
plans with their families, and like if someone doesn't have fun at the wedding, you're really messing up a holiday. But that week in between's a good time because a lot of people are already on vacation.
But it's so expensive to go anywhere. And they
Oh
did
yeah.
that on purpose because they both come from huge families. He is Irish, she is Italian, big 300 something person invite list.
So this is
And they
how
were
they're
like,
separating the wheat from the chaff.
this is, yeah, pretty much. They're like, how do we deter more people from coming
Not
than would be
really.
willing to come?
This is how
It
do we
didn't
get
work.
only the rich people to come to our wedding is what it is.
They have, what is it? I think he said only 9% of invitees said no. So they're
Oh
still gonna have a huge
wow.
wedding.
Yeah, we did a destination wedding. It wasn't crazy. We got married in like the North Myrtle Beach area. But even then we knew it was going to cut down, and we did a child-free wedding, and that cuts down even more. But we did provide like, childcare during the wedding, so if they could want a vacation with their family, they could. But I think we ended up with about half of the people that we invited.
Mhm.
That was 18 years ago. So
Yeah. We did a destination wedding too. That's really cool. Actually, in Maine, we got
in
married.
Maine,
Yeah,
where?
we got married at Acadia National Park.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you get married at an archaeological dig?
Yes, actually, conveniently where they found that coin.
That's crazy. So for the next question, we are going to play for a rare silver Viking penny. But that the asterisk on this is it's disguised as an American copper penny. Yeah,
Oh,
that's just kind
very
of what it looks
sleuthy.
like. It keeps the burglars away. Which one of these is the oldest archaeological site showing human habitation found in North America? One of these is the oldest human archaeological site in North America. A, the Nez Perce Village in Oregon. B, Meadows in Newfoundland. That's Lansaw Meadows in Newfoundland. Or C, the Villages in Florida.
Ooh. I don't know if it would be B 2 times in a row, but I feel like this one is Newfoundland. It just feels like that's when
So,
where most people would go
final
first.
answer B.
Final answer B.
The answer is A, the Nez Perce Village in Oregon, or as the French say, Nez Perce. It is the oldest known human habitation in North America, more than 16,000 years in age. It's located at the site of an ancient Nez Perce village known as Nepehe, near the confluence of the Snake and Salmon rivers. So this is interesting to me because when I think of like early ancient villages that are discovered in North America, I think of like the Southwest, right? Like out in the Arizona desert, or closer to Mexico, but this is all the way up in Oregon. Now, Lansaw Meadows is significant to this episode because this is where the first Norse Vikings came to America. But we're talking about the years around 1000 to 1100 CE rather than 16,000 years ago. So the Nez Perce Village in Oregon. So unfortunately, this time, Marissa, you do not get the rare silver Viking penny. So I will keep that in my collection. The problem is it's hidden as a penny in a penny jar among hundreds of other pennies. I don't know which one it is.
Oh, well, then it's good I didn't win it, because
Yeah,
otherwise we'd have to figure that out.
I have to cast spells over each penny one at a time to figure out which one. Okay, moving on. For question 3, we're going to play for a sticker. It's 3 inches, it's square, and it's sticky. It says the internet says it's true, and I will send this to you if you get this question right. Again, all of these are hard questions, and this one is about a myth. Which one
Okay.
of these is a common myth about Vikings but has been debunked? A, that they wore helmets with horns. B, they were known for excellent hygiene. Or C, they were active in the slave trade. One of these is not true, but it's, something people might have said about Vikings. So A was they wore horned helmets. B, excellent hygiene. C, slave traders.
I have never heard anyone say that Vikings had good hygiene ever. Maybe I again am just not very good at history. Oh gosh. I think it is I think it's C, that they were a part of the slave trade.
The answer is A. Everyone thinks Vikings had helmets with horns. There is no evidence. That's something that's been made up throughout history. No evidence that Vikings wore horned helmets. The horn in the Viking depictions is likely a result of 19th century painters. They added it for dramatic effect to make the Vikings look more, I don't know, angry or threatening. One of the few authentic Vikings helmets that have been discovered had no horns, was hornless. The other 2 things, the hygiene and the slave trade, I actually just looked up a list of things that were true about Vikings, but kind of surprising. And Vikings were known for having excellent hygiene, believe it or not. And you wouldn't think that about Vikings being, traveling months at a time via sea. And sea, they were active in the slave trade. They actually did. They actually were. The Norse were active in the slave trade, which is, of course, sad thing. Happened all over the world. Question 4, and you know what? Next time I see you, I'll give you a sticker anyway. Well,
Thank you.
question 4, Marissa. We're gonna play. This is a big one. We're gonna play for 12 million internet points.
Oh, perfect. I
What will you
needed
use
more
them on?
points.
What do you have? Some debt on the internet?
I do. I have a debt to my brother on the internet because he's much better at games than I am.
Okay.
And so
What's
I owe him about 12 million. So it's perfect actually.
what's your game of choice these days?
Ooh, okay. So on like a computer game,
Whatever. Yeah.
I'm a Sims player, but my
Ah.
brother's DM, so
Say it again. Your brother what?
is a DM, a dungeon master. So we'll do like
Oh.
Zoom Dungeons and Dragons and stuff.
And do you play it like over Zoom? How do you play Dungeons and Dragons online?
Yeah, we just do it over Zoom. Usually just like the family, but he also runs it at colleges, universities, and military bases. He loves it. It's so fun, and he's so good at it.
Wait, so is he like a for hire dungeon master?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's a
If you
thing?
ever need a dungeon master, yeah.
I don't know very much about the world of Dungeons and Dragons. We played like AD&D when I was in high school, but it was my brother's thing. And I hated it because I did not have the attention span, and I was more interested in buying the little pewter figures and painting them. That was what I was really into. So maybe I'm more of a Warhammer guy, I think is what we're discovering, but I think I just couldn't. I did not have the ability to sit there and have someone else's creativity basically decide how good I do in a game. I just couldn't. I just couldn't do that, and so I did not know that you could pay for a guest dungeon master. I always just thought it had to be like your most interested friend, the friend that was most invested in Dungeons and Dragons.
He's definitely invested. He's actually also a history teacher, so I think he
Oh,
infuses some of that into it. Like he just loves it. He runs with it.
I would love playing like a historical fiction version of Dungeons and Dragons, like early America Dungeons and Dragons, where instead of Dungeons and
Absolutely.
Dragons, we're talking about like, um, you know, I don't know what it would be. Probably something incredibly like problematic these days, but uh, like oppressors and oppressees maybe is what the game would be called. I don't know. Anyway, so 12 million internet points are on the line, and here's question 4. Our story this week centers around this coin found in Maine. Which one of these celebrities is from the state of Maine? Was it A, Steven Tyler, B, Anna Kendrick, or C, Ariana Grande?
I think it was Anna Kendrick. I think.
Final answer?
Yeah.
It is Anna Kendrick.
Aha!
Anna Kendrick is from Portland, Maine, where she started acting at the age of 6. Her big break came at the age of 12, acting on Broadway in High Society, a revival of High Society. I found some early, and you can find this on the internet. I found some early video of her at like as a teenager, a young teenager performing on Broadway, and it's crazy because she just looks like Anna Kendrick, like as a kid.
Smaller.
It's just which is a smaller version of the exact same person, sounds the same, looks the same to me anyway. But yeah, she is a Mainer, so she was also discovered. Don't know if she is Norse, but she is a discovery from Maine. Well, you are 50%. You're batting 500 here. You're 2 for 4, but this next question is for all the marbles, Marissa. If you get it right, you're welcome back on the podcast anytime. If you get it wrong, you're banned for life.
Oh my God, the pressure's on.
That's right. If centuries from now, right, people come upon evidence of our lives and communities, okay, so we're talking about like future archaeologists and anthropologists find us and study us, what will they determine about us?
Oh my God, that's such a good question. If they come upon us like as we are right now, what would they think of us?
Yeah, well, what will they determine about us?
Well, they would find all of our like old solidified like rock fossil electronics And they'll probably honestly think that we were like simpletons because I'm sure that they're gonna have crazy, crazy electronics
All that stuff will
or
maybe be like just embedded in their bodies by then, and they're weird because they won't understand that those are in a landfill separate from the bodies.
yeah, what? Phones used to be outside of your hand? That's so crazy.
That's an interesting answer and a winning answer. So you're welcome back on the podcast anytime. I've always said, like, if they ever found the grave of like Evil Knievel before the rest of us, they would think we were all human, like cyborgs, because he's probably got so many bolts and plates and metal in his body from all of the years. But yeah, they'll find our fake hips, and they'll if they find that first, like imagine if we dug up a dinosaur and that dinosaur, like dinosaurs were super intelligent and had surgeries with fake hips and stuff, we'd be like, oh, well, that's just part of their dinosaurs. They have, silicone and surgical steel and all these different things as part of their normal natural makeup. So that's
Oh
what
my
they'll find with us, I think. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on. You did wonderfully, and you are welcome back. If you want to learn about Marissa Faye Cohen, what you can do is just Google the name. It's Marissa F. Cohen. You will find all of the wonderful works she's done, including books, lectures, where she's appearing, all of her socials. Do you want to share a website with everyone?
Sure. My website is my name. It's marissafaycohen.com, MarissafayCohen.com.
Wonderful. It's been awesome having you on and great to see you. I hope you have a great holiday.
Thank you, you too. And thank you so much for having me. This has been a ton of fun.
That's all for this week. Thank you so much to Marissa Faye Cohen for being my guest, and thanks to you for listening. Here's the voice of a young Leif Erikson. Awesome. Thank you so much. That was great.
Thank you. That was awesome. That was so fun. Thank you for
Yeah,
inviting me.
absolutely. Yeah, this is week 216 of this.
Holy
I
cow.
know. I've only missed 1 week, and that was when I had COVID. I missed the week, and I was expecting like it to have a huge impact on the podcast, and nothing happened. Nobody cared. No one said anything, and it ended up just like the numbers didn't change at all for the week after that. They just came right back. So
Okay,
that
good.
taught me like if I want to do that, I can. Actually, I think I did take a break. I needed a break because I was trying to determine if I was going to keep this going. This was earlier this year, I think, maybe last year. I was like, I don't know if I have it in me to just keep doing this every week because it has nothing to do with work. It pays a little bit of money, not enough to pay, the bills to keep it going, but it's a passion project. So, you know,
Mm.
yeah. Anywho. All right. Well, I'll let you get going with your Sunday, and I'm going to go take my dog to the groomer.
Oh, well, have fun. Give your
Yeah,
dog a snuggle for me.
I definitely will. I will see you later, Marissa. Take care.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.